If we don't have anybody on the ballot, the Republican side, who is a conservative and who is willing to say he's a conservative and espouse those principles, we are going to lose. The Democrats are going to win and win big. If our nominee is either not conservative and is pandering to the left to try to get some of their votes, or if our nominee is so afraid of his record that he's relying on identity politics to get votes, or if our nominee decides that the only way he can win is to go out and pick off some libs in the Northeast and out in the West, it's going to be a bloodbath. And the Northeast liberal Republican elite's going to be loving the whole campaign because they think that their ideas have regained prominence and power in the Republican Party, all before it goes down to defeat in a massive landslide. And if somebody told you that a conservative was someone who supported amnesty for illegal aliens, who supported limiting free political speech, McCain-Feingold, who embraced the ACLU's brief for terrorist detainees and getting constitutional rights, U.S. constitutional rights. If someone told you that a conservative is someone who opposed tax cuts during the Bush administration and has recently confirmed he would do it again, what would you say? Most likely you would say, hell no, that's not a conservative. Yet I just described to you several of Senator McCain's positions over the years. Now, the idea that he's a great conservative in this race is an affront to conservatives. Governor Huckabee, who might be a fine man, and is a great Christian, is not a conservative. He's just not. If you look at his record as governor, he's got some conservative tendencies on things, but he's certainly not the most conservative of the candidates running on the Republican side. There are some people who will overlook every aspect of Governor Huckabee that is really something in which is total opposition to most of their beliefs, because all they will see is the Christian characteristic, particularly if it fits right with the abortion issue. Now, my friends, I'm sorry here. I haven't spent a lifetime, and particularly the last 23 years on radio, advocating conservative principles only to throw them away, to embrace some candidate. I don't support open borders and amnesty, as does Governor Huckabee. I don't support the release of hundreds of criminals. I don't support repeated increases in taxes. I don't support national health care. I don't care what you call it, whether it's in the name of the children or not. I don't support anti-war rhetoric that sounds as if it was written by Nancy Pelosi. And yet I'm being asked to put all that aside in the midst of a Republican primary. As I've tried to point out countless times, a primary is a time to sort these things out. Now, I, speaking for myself, am not going to put aside my principles to accommodate a single politician or campaign operative, period. Too much is at stake here. Ronald Reagan won 2 landslides, coming off of a Jimmy Carter 4 years of melees. Following Ronald Reagan, in 1993, in 1994, took back the House of Representatives for the first time in 40 years. And we did this with conservative principles. What frustrates me is why the latest current crop of Republicans wants to ignore that and think that there's a better way, when the evidence that shows progress, both economic, social, you name it, national security, defeating the Soviets in the Cold War, it's all there. And why it is eschewed, why it is ignored, is something I've long told you this in different ways. Starting in the early days of this primary campaign, I warned you, one of the things that concerns me most about all this is how conservatism is going to be redefined so as to fit whatever the current crop of candidates said as it is. I mean, there's a bunch of these guys running around saying they're Reagan. None of them are. There's not one Reagan conservative. Well, no, I can't say there's not one, but I mean, there may be one. But just don't ask me to compromise my principles. If you want to compromise yours, fine. But don't ask me to make you feel better by joining me. Be back after this. Stay with us.